Good morning, friends. Today we will study a very important topic, how to teach online classes or offline classes. So as we know, the quality of education and teacher training are the issues that are pending for long in Indian education system. And since the onset of COVID-19 emergency, the issue of teacher training has been felt even more. So nowadays there are so many companies who are making money, earning lots of money via teacher training. So uh, I thought I would share my experience, my teaching experience of around 20 years in professional coaching industry, including Akash Institute New Delhi, MET New Delhi, and prominent schools of Delhi, Gurugram, Noida, Faridabad, as well as coaching industry in Kota. And I'm sure my teaching experience will help the teachers a lot, and this in turn will help the students in getting quality education. So let's see today which important aspects of teaching we are going to cover today. So today we will cover various aspects like knowledge, presentation, delivery of knowledge, how the knowledge should be delivered by the teacher, lecture planning, content planning, lecture rehearsal, communication, language, fluency, accent, interaction, class control, feedback, teaching experience of the teacher, and in the last, the basic difference in teaching by school teachers and coaching teachers. So there are some of the major aspects which we will deal briefly, so that it helps in teacher training and it helps in freshers who want to make their career in teaching, so as well as the teachers who have started teaching from offline to online recently, right? So let's start with the first section in the art of teaching, and that is knowledge. So knowledge knowledge is one of the basic requirements, right? So it's not knowledge, not the everything in teaching. So not my words, it is one of the basic requirements in teaching. So the teacher must have at least basic concepts of the topic clear, right? The subject, the basic fundamentals of the subject must be clear, and whatever topic the teacher is teaching, the topic must be clear to the teacher. I mean, the fundamental concept clarity must be there during the class. So knowledge is only a part of the holistic art of teaching, and delivering of knowledge is another part, right? So as I told you, having knowledge is not the ultimate criteria in teaching. So in my teaching experience, I have seen many teachers uh, from from IITs, NITs, right, and other premier institutes of the country. So the teachers who had very high knowledge does not mean that they will be good teachers. So having a basic knowledge is one aspect, and delivering the knowledge is another aspect. So sometimes it happens that being excellent in academic records, highly talented teachers pass out from IITs and IITs, and still the such teachers are not able to deliver in the class, right? And it also happens sometimes that an average teacher from an average academic background, from an average institution, he delivers his knowledge in such a way that the students are very happy with the teacher. So having knowledge is one thing, and delivering knowledge to the students is another thing. So so the so the first important requirement for teaching is that the teacher must have the basic fundamental knowledge of the subject. The fundamentals of the topic must be clear to the teacher. So basic fundamental must be the focus in the class. So that's about knowledge. And the knowledge without delivery skills is a burden. So that's one aspect. We will keep this here brief only. So we'll discuss more about delivering knowledge in later section. Before that, let's see about next section, and that is lecture planning. So lecture planning is a very important aspect in teaching, and without lecture planning, no teacher can effectively deliver his knowledge in the class. So lecture planning here means that suppose there is a 1 hour class, and so in 1 hour class the teacher makes a mental map. He makes an outline that in 1 hour what he is going to teach, how he is going to teach, what topics he will cover in 1 hour, what contents he will deliver for that this topic in 1 hour, and how much contents he will deliver, and in what mode the contents will be delivered, whether he will deliver the topic in the form of a PDF file, or in the form of PowerPoint presentation, or via slides, or Word files, or via YouTube video, or animation videos, or images, or a mix of all, right? So that comes under content planning. So the teacher need to make the content planning in advance. So basically that's content planning is a part of lecture planning. So lecture planning helps in effective time management also. So if your content is well prepared and you have planned your lecture, it will help in delivering your knowledge in sufficient time. So that's how lecture planning is a very important aspect in teaching. And now let's move ahead to the next section, and that is about delivery. So delivery of knowledge includes proper lecture planning. So to ensure effective delivery of knowledge in the class, the teacher has to come down to the level of the student. So as you know, there are various types of student in a class, ranging from average student to above average student, intelligent student to genius students. So it's the responsibility of the teacher to satisfy each and every student in the class. So this is a challenging task for the teacher, and it is a tight rope walk for the teacher to keep all the students in the class happy. So because what happens if the teacher starts focusing more on the average student, let me tell you, most of the students in a class, 80%, almost 80%, 60 to 80% students in the class are average students. So if the teacher starts focusing only on average students, then the intelligent student and the genius, whose proportion is very less, so they start feeling bored in the class. And if the teacher starts satisfying and making happy the intelligent and genius students, then the average student will not understand, as well as above average student will also not understand what is being taught in the class. So it will create problem for the students as well as problem for the teacher. So it's always a challenge for the teacher to maintain a balance in such a way that all the students in the class are happy, they understand what is being taught in the class, and they comprehend, they're comfortable with the teaching. So that's an art that depends on the teacher, how he takes the class forward, so that every student is happy in the class. So to understand that, to keep the students happy, the teacher needs to interact with the students. So there must be a two-way interaction. Two-way interaction here means that the teacher must ensure that the student is understanding whatever is teaching to the student. So sometimes it happens, like in school classes, sometimes happens the teacher keeps on teaching and teaching, keeps on speaking without bothering whether every student is understanding or not, and so that's the not the right professional way of teaching. So it's the responsibility of the teacher to ensure that every student, even at the last student at the last bench is also understanding. And so that involves, that requires two-way interaction with the student, right? So the teacher must interact in such a way that the students ask doubts from the teacher understand that the students are understanding. So in that way it becomes an interactive process, and the teacher and the student both feel engaged with each other, and the class goes smoothly. So here the important thing here is, in delivery of knowledge, is that you must take your topic from basic concept to higher level, right? So yeah, maybe it's an intelligent student or whatever student, average student, right? So it just start with the basic concept, and then move the concept slightly to the higher level, systematically and slowly, so that student does not feel discomfort or break, or he so that he understands things properly. And so ensure that the student is understanding whatever you are teaching. And if the student has not understood, revise that topic, revise the concept, re-explain, explain again and again, but make sure that student is understanding, every student is understanding in the class. So that is some aspect of delivery of knowledge. And there are also some minor issues, like uh, remain in the control of the class. So it means uh, the class should go smoothly, right? So whenever there is a noise in the class, it means that either the teacher is having lack of knowledge, or the teacher has lack of confidence, or the teacher has lack of teaching experience, right? So, or there's a problem in delivery, the students are not understanding. So whenever there is noise in the class, it means the class control is not completely under the teacher's control. So class control, sometimes even though the teacher is talented, knowledgeable, still there are some mischievous elements in the class, right? So the teacher needs to be polite but professional, assertive, in such a way that the students remain calm and comfortable, they remain relaxed, and the students open up with the teacher. So that if the teacher becomes too much assertive, then what happens, the students, they hesitate to ask doubts. So that's the right balance the teacher has to keep between his assertiveness, confidence, and so that the students remain uh, comfortable, and they open up and they ask doubts, and that they clear doubts. The teacher must encourage the students to ask doubts and to clarify the confusions, if any, so that the knowledge is delivered properly and the students understand what is being delivered by the teacher. So now let's move to the next aspect of teaching, and that is delivery of knowledge in group classes. So there's a lots of difference between teaching one-to-one class and group class. So as I told you that each and every student has paid, and hence it's the responsibility of the teacher to keep each and every student happy and satisfied. So it's the teacher who has to strike a balance in the level and depth of teaching so that average as well as most intelligent students, all of them grasp it and understand it. So the teacher needs to interact more in the class with the students, right? So the teacher needs to ask questions from the students so that he understands that the students are understanding the topic or not. So so that's the important thing here to be kept in mind, that group class requires more interaction, more engagement by the teacher with the students, so that the class runs smoothly and effectively. And in group classes, if it is a online class, then it is recommended that keep the group class small, okay, because larger the group class, the more the interaction is required. And if it is the online class, then interaction becomes difficult. So keeping the group class not more than up to 10 students can keep it effective. But online classes, one-to-one classes are always advisable, because the teacher comes to the level of the student very easily. He understands the requirement of the student, he understands the learning speed of the student, so it becomes easy for both the student and teacher. But in group class, the schools must try to keep the group as small as possible, so that everyone is understanding in the class what is being taught by the teacher. So so in group class, the initial class should also include introductory elements, like the teacher should introduce himself or herself about himself or herself. The teacher should make an outline of the syllabus and the things that will be covered during the classes. And the teacher should try to understand the requirements of the student, and what the student requires, and what is the level of the student, and what is the learning speed, and so in what way the teacher needs to deliver to that particular student. So that's some aspects the teachers need to take care in group classes. So now let's see about the next aspect. So the next aspect is presentation. So as we know, presentation is a very important aspect in teaching. And without proper presentation, the knowledge, even high level of knowledge, may not work properly in the class. So during presentation, the teacher always needs to be confident. So always be confident in the class, right? Confident but polite. Never become nervous. So sometimes it happens that teacher goes blank in the class. So it happens with everybody. It, even gold medalist, talented teachers having years of experience sometimes go blank, right? But there are various ways to deal with such things, and with experience, these things happen very less. But with freshers who have less than 2 years of experience, they face these problems quite often. So but never become nervous, even if you get blank, or you forget something, or you make some mistake. So always stay cool, calm and composed, have patience, and things will come under your control. So remain assertive with complete class control. uh, so so that's one aspect, confidence. So confidence is a very important aspect. So knowledge is the first and foremost basic requirement, and then delivery of knowledge, then presentation, right? So presentation includes various aspects like how do you present your knowledge, your contents, your lecture, right? So so there are various aspects like some teachers use only typing, or some use only writing, some use only video. So what happens that if you use only PDF documents, like school teachers, they keep on teaching with PDF document only, so that makes the student bored. And so it's advisable that you use a mix of writing, typing, some PDF document, some slides, so some video, some images, or some animation. Okay, so keep a balance of all in such a way that the class becomes more interesting and more engaging to the student, and student feels interested in the class. So so that's how the teacher needs to go during presentation of his knowledge. And another aspect is that the teacher must be aware of the classroom tools. So nowadays online classes are happening, and there are various online teaching platforms. So the teacher must know where is the writing option, where is the pencil option, right, where is the eraser option, and where is the audio control, where is the video control. Sometimes what happens, the student gets muted and the teacher does not know how to unmute. Even teacher sometimes do not know how to unmute herself or himself, how to switch on or switch off the video in the class, right? So it's important, and how to upload the document, how to upload the PDF, right, where to upload, so how to share the screen. So it's always advisable to practice the classroom tools in advance so that you don't feel embarrassed during the class in searching out various tools. And so that's the another aspect. And as I told you, sometimes it happens because the technology is new, and because of technological aspects, some problems may happen. But in that case also don't lose your confidence, because what happens, even when you lose confidence, okay, maybe you are very talented, gold medalist, topper, IITian, right? But if you lose confidence in the class, the students will also lose confidence in you, and sooner or later you will be out of the class and you will not be accepted by the class. So under all circumstances, stay confident, stay cool, calm and polite, right? And remain in the control of the class. Try your best, deliver your best. And another aspect during presentation is that speak sufficiently loud. So some teachers speak very slowly, and the student at the last corner in the last row, they are not able to hear. Even during online classes, some students are not able to hear the teacher properly because of the teacher speaking very low, right? So because of internet fluctuations or slow internet speed, the student is not able to hear properly if the teacher speaks slow or low. So speaks sufficiently loud enough and clear enough, loud and clear, right? So that's the most important aspect. If you are not loud enough, if you are not clear enough, the student will not understand whatever you are teaching, whatever you are delivering, the student will not understand. So so that's another aspect of presentation. Be clear and loud. And next aspect is that keep the speed of the class in such a way that the student is understanding at that speed. So keep the pace of the teaching at such a pace that the student is understanding. Neither go too slow, neither go too fast. So maintain a balance. Okay, so if you go very fast, student will not understand, right? And if you go very slow, students will start becoming bored. So so just uh, keep changing your speed, maintain your speed, your balance of the speed, okay, depending upon the level of student, depending on the requirement of the student, depending upon the learning speed of the student. So that the teacher need to understand, and accordingly the teacher need to maintain the pace of the class. So that's another aspect in presentation. And now let's see the next important section in the teaching, and that is communication. So in online classes, communication is very important. Clear communication, effective communication. And just I told you that speak sufficiently loud, be clear, be audible clearly. So ensure that your audio, computer audio, system audio is working properly in advance before the class. Test your audio. Ensure that audio volume is sufficiently high so that students are able to understand, listen you, and also always have a stable internet connection with sufficient data balance and sufficient internet speed. So an internet connection of up to 2 Mbps, around 2 Mbps. If it is beyond 2 Mbps, it's well and good, but up to 2 Mbps, 2 Mbps is well enough to get the classes run smoothly. And Wi-Fi is always preferred over mobile data, because what happens, Wi-Fi connections remain more stable, and mobile data internet connection gets interrupted whenever somebody makes a call to you, or you make a call to on mobile, so mobile internet is disconnected. So ensure that if you are using mobile data, then do not use your mobile for the making a call, so that your internet is not disrupted. And also ensure that your computer system, your laptop, whatever system you are using, it is in a good condition, it is working fine, it is working smoothly, it is not hanging up, it is not having any virus or trojan. Okay, so that it is not very slow. So if it is very slow or hangs up, it will create another problem. It will break audio in the class, and it will, students will feel bored, class will go slow, and things will get worse. So ensure your computer and internet connection is in a good condition, and if possible also have a power backup if you have at your home, so that will ensure uninterrupted communication, and that will help a lot. Now let's see the next important aspect in teaching, and that is language. So language is merely a medium of instruction. So in what language the teacher should teach the student, Hindi or English or mix. So basically, frankly speaking, medium of instruction is secondary, right? So what medium of instruction the teacher should follow depends upon the student. So choose a medium of instruction in which the teacher is also comfortable and the student is also comfortable, right? So language is merely a medium. So choose a language in which you can explain and clarify your teaching easily and comfortably, and the student also understands and comprehends in that language easily and comfortably. So so depending upon nature of student, from which state the student belongs to, or from which country the student belongs to, or what medium of instruction uh, the student follows in his school. So depending upon that, the teacher needs to understand. The teacher may ask the student also, so what medium we should continue, whether are you comfortable in Hindi or English, or should I use a mix of Hindi and English. So the teacher must ensure that the student is comfortable in which part of the language. So so for Indian, let's see for Indian students. So for Indian students in general, most teachers use a mix of English and Hindi, right? So even in metro cities in Delhi, like just uh, metro cities, most teachers use English. Like in metro cities, most teachers use English in the class, uh, but others also use mix of Hindi and English, right? So because we are Indians and Hindi is our mother language, student don't mind if the teacher uses a mix of Hindi also. Even in metro cities like in Delhi, I had a batch of Delhi Public School, DPS Mathura Road, New Delhi. So in that batch, although I used to use purely English medium as a medium of communication, but other teachers used to have a mix of Hindi and English, and the students were very happy with that with those teachers. So that was not a problem. So for Indians, you can have a mix of Hindi and English, and but initially for metro city students, in initial classes you follow the English language, and slowly with the course of time you understand that student is comfortable in Hindi only, or in English only, or a mix of both, right? So that sets the tone of the class with the progress of time. And but for international students, you need to teach only in English, right? Because they don't understand Hindi, or very little. They understand very little. Hindi is understood by the international students, unless they are NRIs or have any Indian connection. So use only English for international students. And in case of international students, your accent also needs to be taken care of, right? So accent, uh, the neutral accent is okay, and but if you have an international accent like American accent or British accent, that will help the student, that will make the student more comfortable, and it will help him to easily understand whatever you are speaking or teaching. So accent part is also important in case of international students. Now let's see next part, and that is fluency. uh, so the teacher must be fluent enough in the class so that the class goes smoothly, lecture goes smoothly without any interruption. And let me tell you, the fluency in the class, okay, is not all about the fluency of the language. The fluency is the overall smooth conduction of the class, and fluency depends on many factors. So if the teacher that is not having sufficient knowledge about the topic, then the teacher will not be fluent enough. There will be disruptions, interruptions, the class will go slow, right? So fluency depends on the teacher's knowledge, right? It also depends on lecture planning. If the teacher has not planned the lecture well in advance, so without lecture planning, the teacher will not be fluent enough, the lecture will not go, it will not conduct smoothly. And if the teacher has not made content planning, it will also interrupt the fluency in the class, because content planning means out which contents, what contents, in what order, how much content. So that part, the teacher, it requires lots of time, and before the class the teacher make have to finalize the content, sort out contents. So we understand that nowadays there are lots of contents on any topic available on Google. So you type any topic in Google, and you will find so many PDF document, PowerPoint, video, YouTube video, animation, what's images, right? So here be careful to sort out quality contents from the internet, and you arrange them properly, systematically. Do not overburden the student with the contents if it is easily available, right? So you sort out, you focus on quality, not on quantity of content. And accordingly, uh, the teacher also needs to make a rehearsal during the class, and so that it does not waste the time during the actual class. And the fluency also depends on teachers teaching experience. So if you have 2 years of teaching experience, you will not have any problem in your fluency. The class will go slow, it will not go slow, it will go it will smoothly be conducted. And fluency also depends on the confidence of the teacher. So if you are confident enough, you will be fluent enough. And if you are not confident, if you become nervous during the class, your fluency is also affected. So confidence is again a matter of experience, right? So more the experience you have, more the confidence you get, and more the fluent you get, right? So that's about fluency. And now let's see about next section of teaching, and that is accent. So we already told you that for international students, the accent should be at least neutral. However, a little bit of international accent, for example American accent or British accent, makes the lecture more comfortable for the international student, right? So that we already discussed. Now let's see the very important aspect, and that is teaching experience. So experience has no alternative. So even if you are from IITs or NIIT or AIMS or JNU or whatsoever top academic institutions, even if you are gold medalist or topper, right? So that doesn't matter. Experience has no alternative, right? So uh, so what happens that during first, even if you're a topper, even if you're from IITs, and but uh, when you enter the class, you learn many things from the students, and the first 2 years are very crucial in learning. The teachers learn a lot of things from the student during the first 2 years. The teachers learn how to teach effectively, right? So 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 having knowledge, I told you earlier, is not the only criteria. Knowledge is only one of the aspects in teaching, and experience teaches you many things. Experience teaches you how to deliver your knowledge in effective and more comfortable way, so that the students comprehend it, understand it, the students grasp it. And so so what happens if you have covered your syllabus, entire syllabus of the subject for 2 years, right? Then after that you will never face any problem during classes. So 2 years of experience is very important, very crucial. And after that, most teachers become refined teachers, and they rarely face problems. So experience has no alternative. And so let's see the next aspect in teaching, and that's we will discuss about a difference in school teacher and coaching teacher, that is in school teaching and coaching teaching. So although there are exceptions are always there, but here I will discuss in general, right? So here I am talking in general only, so the exceptions are always there. So now let's see about the differences. So first we'll discuss about coaching teachers, right? So we'll discuss about teaching culture in coaching industry, how the coaching industry makes the arrangements for teaching for the students. So before we discuss that, let's discuss a very important aspect, and that is salary of the teachers. So salary of the teacher is a very important aspect that makes a lots of difference in school teaching and professional coaching teaching. So uh, as far as salary of the school teachers is concerned, there's a huge difference in the salary of school teacher and salary of coaching teachers. So if you consider in metro cities, so in metro cities, if you are an above average teacher, so an above average teacher in metro cities gets a salary of from 30,000 rupees, 30,000 to rupees 45,000 per month, right? And in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, the salary is even less, that starts from 20,000 to 35,000. And in tier 3 cities, the salary gets even lesser, 15,000 to 25,000. So that's the salary in the schools. And the schools have a cap on their salary, right? So some more, even the schools in Delhi or metro cities, the maximum salary does not go beyond 55,000 or 60,000, whatever talented teacher you are. Okay, even if you belong from IIT or NIIT or gold medalist or topper, so the schools have a cap on their salary, right? So so maximum salary maybe 50,000, 55,000, right? So in metro cities, in tier 1, tier 2 cities, the cap is even lower. So but in case of coaching industry, there is no limit to salary, right? Thus, for example, I told you in metro cities. So if you are an above average teacher in metro cities, you will get 35,000, 30 to 45,000 of the salary per month. But the same teacher, if he goes to coaching, he will get a salary starting from 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh per month to rupees 2 lakhs per month, right? And so on an average, an above average teacher is getting a salary of close to 1.5 lakhs in metro cities. In tier 1 and tier 2 cities, it is slightly lesser, right? And but uh, I told you, if the teacher is good enough and is talented and having experience, so the teachers are getting salary of from 3 lakhs per month to 5 lakhs per month. In quota, the teachers, coaching teachers, are having a package of an annual package of rupees 50 lakhs to 1 crore also, right? So in coaching industry, there is no cap on the salary of teachers. If you are talented, if you are experienced, if you deliver well, if you're a good teacher, then the salary is not a limit. And salary is the highest incentive. This is the most important incentives. Because of that, the teachers work very hard in coaching industry. Because if you are taking a package of 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs or 1 crore per year, the teacher needs to be result oriented and outcome oriented teaching. So that's the characteristics feature of the coaching industry. The teaching is result oriented, outcome oriented teaching, and unfortunately that is missing in private schools. Forget government schools. Private schools uh, are not so much result oriented. They are not so much outcome oriented. It's all because of the salary caps. All the private schools charge a very high fees from the parents. But for example, in metro cities, the most schools in metro cities are charging rupees 1 lakh, on an average 1 lakh rupees per year per student. But the private schools are paying very less, too little salary to the teachers. So that's a disincentive for the teachers to improve themselves. That's a disincentive for the teachers not to become result oriented, and that's a disincentive for the teachers not to become outcome oriented, right? So, and accordingly, because there is a salary cap, accordingly that kind of teacher, that kind of talent will come to the schools, right? So uh, so there is a limit, there is a level, there is a threshold beyond which the talent will not come to the school because of limited salary cap in the schools. So that's a very important aspect, salary. So salary makes a lots of difference in quality of education, in delivery, in communication, presentation, whatsoever, right? So that's a lots of difference. Why the coaching teachers are giving so much results, and why there is a problems in quality of education in schools. So that's uh, so we have discussed salary aspects, right? So now let's move to other aspects of coaching and school industry. So in coaching, the teacher focus on concept clarity and practice, right? More basic concepts are clear. They focus on fundamental concept, basic concepts, right? Fundamentals of the subjects are clear to the students. The teachers sort out important aspects of the subject, and they focus on fundamentals, right? They there are regular tests, practice tests also. So another important aspect in coaching is that during class the coaching teachers are not allowed book reading, right? Neither notes during the class are allowed by to the teacher. On the other hand, in schools, teachers, most teachers, they use the books for teaching, and book reading is involved, and even hand notes are there. So what happens if you have books in your hand and you are teaching? So that will never make your teaching effective, and it will never make your lecture plan effective, and things will not be that professional. So that's not the right approach of teaching, right? So if you are teaching with a book, so it means you are still not a refined teacher. So so uh, so just leave the habit of book reading. Prepare your topic in advance. Okay, so that's another very important aspect. And next is, so what happens that in coaching teachers, they have every topic on their tips, and even if they don't have topic on tips, they revise the topic before going to the class. So they have a look at the contents in the book, and they make a mental outline, and that he will cover these aspects in the topic. So just it takes hardly to take 1 2 minutes or 5 minutes to have a look at the book, and then he goes without any book in the class, and so book free reading, book free teaching he engages in. So that's makes delivery of knowledge very effective, and class syllabus is also completed timely, and things are delivered properly. So so that's about coaching teachers, what practices they follow. And in coaching, the teachers, I told you, they plan their lecture in advance, and without lecture planning, uh, because there are targets in the coaching that you will have to cover this much of syllabus in this much of time, right? This much of topic in this much hours, right? And this much of content in this much of time. So the teachers need to prepare their lecture in advance, right? And so lecture planning helps in proper delivery, effective delivery, timely delivery of the content, and it also helps in timely completion of the syllabus also. So that's a very important aspect. And another aspect in coaching culture is the teachers are rigorously trained. So in metro cities, some teaching institutes provide a month of teacher training, some provide a week of teacher training depending upon the requirement of the teacher. And during teacher training, teachers learn various aspects from experts, and so various aspects like how the teacher is delivering the class, class control, nervousness, flow, continuity, communication, right? And so that's a part of teacher training. And so teacher training is somewhat lacking in school teaching, and the schools need to improve in teacher training more. And another important aspect in coaching industry is that the class is monitored via camera by the coaching management, right? So so teachers are aware of, and students are also aware that they're getting monitored, they're being monitored by the management. And the teacher cannot go casual in the class, the teacher cannot go slow, he cannot be laxative, and he makes the class efficient and energetic, and interesting, and he makes use of every minute provided to him to deliver to the students. So that's a very important aspect. And as I told you, the coaching teachers, they have more exposure. So they mostly coaching teachers, they keep on changing their coaching institute every 2 years or 3 years, right? So they switch over their coaching institutes, and in the process they get more salary in the next institute, and more exposure, more training, so that that further helps the teachers in increasing their salary and exposure and teaching experience. So that's another aspect. And now, so what happens that coaching teachers are accountable and responsible to satisfy each and every student in the class, because each and every student has paid for the class. So it's a duty, responsibility of the teacher to keep every student happy. But on the other hand, in schools there is no such thing. The teachers merely superficially take the topic and they uh, somehow they touch the topic, and even many teachers even don't bother whether students are understanding or not, whether topic is complete or not, right? So what happens, because of this approach, the most school students in India take private tuition classes. So it's a fact, more than 80% students, they have to take private coaching classes, private tuition classes after coming from school, because they do not understand what is being taught in the class. So the same topic they do not understand in the class, the same topic they come at home, they study via private tuition or private coaching. So that's an unfortunate thing, and that wastes lots of time of student. Half of their time is wasted in the school, then another half they waste in the private uh, coaching to understand. And in addition to that, the parents make lots of hard work with the student nowadays. So so you know uh, so you know because we'll take these things later also, but uh, the school teachers need to be more accountable, more responsible as far as they are covering the topic. They must cover the topic comprehensively, in depth, with basic focus, with focus on basic fundamental concept clarity, so that the students don't have to take private tuitions again at home or at coaching institutes. So that's an important aspect. So so what happens, the schools basically, what happens, they mostly are involved more in project based teaching. There are nowadays so many projects given by the schools, like a primary school student, first class student, nursery class student is being given project of solar system, solar cooker, right? So do you think the a first class student will make the project of solar cooker? So we all know that parents make the projects themselves, and the students take the project to the school, right? And maybe schools dump the projects and maybe resell it or whatsoever, right? Right. So many things happen in schools, and schools provide so many of other kind of activity, and so rather than focus on the academic activities, there are other extracurricular activities and projects and etc. So somewhere the schools need to uh, take care in that aspect, right? So now let's see another thing, and that is about feedback. Okay, so in coaching industry, the feedback is a very important aspect in teaching. So there is a regular feedback from the students about the teacher, about his teaching style, his knowledge delivery, presentation, right, communication, and many things. So so what happens, the feedback keeps the teacher updated, and they improve themselves. The teachers take that feedback positively, so that they can improve themselves further. And if there's a negative feedback about a particular teacher, okay, repetitive negative feedback 3 times from a class, okay, from the same class, if there's an again and again negative feedback 3 times, then the class, that teacher is changed from that class, right? Another teacher is provided to that class. and if the teacher is not performing in another class, he is having negative feedback again, so the teacher is fired out also. So it's important to note that the teachers need to have at least 75% positive feedback at all times, right? So at least 75% of the students in the class must give positive feedback about the teacher, so that the teacher can teach. So the teachers, coaching teachers, uh, do lots of hard work, and they try their best, because they are getting very high salary, very high incentives, right? So the teachers put their best to keep the students happy, to make them result oriented, and to get their exams cleared, including JEE, NEET, etc., or whatsoever exams they are preparing for. So that's another important aspect. In schools, the feedback system is not that much strong. Even if sometimes what happens, even if the students are not happy with the teacher, the feedback is negative, the schools keep on enforcing the same teacher on the same batch, and the students don't have any alternative. They have to study with the same teacher, and because of this, the teacher also don't want to improve themselves, right? And I already told you there are various factors, right? So, so that's another area where the schools need to improve. And another aspect is the coaching industry provides a better quality of study material, better quality of study notes to the students, and that also helps a lot in their preparation. Maybe it's a preparation about CBSE or board exams or JEE, NEET, etc. So quality of contents is also difference in school teaching and coaching teaching. Now, so uh, and there is also a trend that most coaching institutes have their teachers who have passed out from relatively better or premier academic institutions of the country, and so mostly IITs and IITs and other good institutes teachers, they are in coaching industry. uh, in schools also, some IITs may be there, okay, but relatively there are fewer teachers from good academic institutes in schools. Although exceptions are always there, I told you, but it's all about salary, okay? So wherever you get better salary, better incentives, so talented teachers, and they will go in coaching industry, because they know that there is a cap in the salary in the schools. So that's another different aspect in this. Now let's so summarize about school teaching. So it's so her purpose is not to criticize teachers or schools. Our purpose is just to become aware of the problem, a long pending problem of teacher training, right? And the quality of education has been deteriorated so much, so we need to do something. So once we are aware of the problem, definitely we can find the solution. So it's just to uh, discuss the problems so that we can find better solutions for these problems. So that's the only intention here. So what happens, teaching profession in schools needs to be incentivized, right? So that means that salary of the teachers need to be improved. So I already discussed earlier, although the schools charge a very high fee from the parents, but they give too little salary to the teachers. So that makes quality of education getting deteriorated day by day in schools and private education. So as we know that because of failure of the government schools, the private schools came into role, and if the private schools also don't deliver, then the parents will, society will lose faith on schools. They will try to find out alternative of private schools. The parents will start backfire if the schools don't do timely, if the schools don't improve their quality of education, if the schools don't improve on teacher training front, if the schools don't improve on basic fundamentals, if the schools don't improve on outcome based education, the parents will backfire. They will definitely switch over to any alternative if it is available to them. But unfortunately, currently there is no alternative except private teaching, private tuition or private coaching. So that's uh, a an alarming warning bell for the schools to incentivize the teachers to increase their salary, so that quality teachers are retained, the teachers are properly trained, and they deliver efficiently and properly what according to expectations of the parents and the society. So as I discussed earlier, in most schools, most of the teachers teach the topic superficially, just for the sake of completing syllabus. So most of the students take private coaching to understand the topic taught in the school class, and for remaining students, I told you, parents work very hard with the student to understand what was taught at the school, and uh, the parents or the coaching teacher, they teach the same topic to the student in depth, in detail, so that he understands the topic, because the schools took the topic superficially, they simply touched it and left it out. So that approach is quite unresponsible approach on part of the school system, and the schools must reduce too much burden of projects, right? So, burden of too much projects, too much of activities, unnecessary activities by the schools. It wastes time of the students. So there's a balance between academic curriculum and extracurricular activities. And another thing is that schools give so many assignments, that it wastes lots of time of the students. They keep on completing assignment at home, and we do not know whether the teachers check it or not, and it keeps on like that. So it further compounds the problem of the school teaching. So here uh, because the online classes, because of emergency situation of COVID-19, the school teachers had to suddenly switch over to online classes. So although there are already issues in offline classes, right, but because of sudden switch over to online classes, many other issues have come forward, and uh, many parents have complained about the quality of teaching by schools during online classes, and many limitations have been exposed, and parents have complained of that. So there is no alternative, and the schools need to improve at that front. Maybe it is teacher training, quality of teachers, salary, incentives, whatsoever. But definitely at school front level, definitely the Indian education system needs to do a lot, so that we move ahead professionally in our education system. So now let's see the another aspects in school teaching. uh, so we are just summarizing. So school need to focus more on concept clarity and outcome based fundamental teaching, and schools should not overly pressurize parents for improving performance of their child. So I have seen during PTM in schools, right? So I have also taken PTM of parents. Even I have gone to schools for my child's PTM in schools. So what happens that uh, the school teacher, the schools, they precise so much to the parents that, oh, your child is not performing well, your child is weak, he needs to improve, work hard. Okay, even teachers even don't hesitate to recommend private coaching, private tuition, or tuition by there are so many things, right? So the parents become anxious or pressurized, but the schools must understand that the parents are also working. They are working hard to earn the money. The schools, very high fees the schools are charging, right? So so despite paying such a very high fee to the school, the parent need to work hard with the student just like a teacher. Then what's the use of giving such a high fee to the school by the parent? So so that kind of approach is work has been working till now, but it may or may not work in future, and I'm sure in coming few years the parents will start minding it, they'll start backfiring it. It's a responsibility of the teacher to improve the learning outcomes of the student, to work hard on the students, and so that each and every student does well in his academic performance. So it's so although it's parents also are equally partner in the education of their child, but parents have their own limitations, they have their own time limitations. They some are working, mostly are working parents in metro cities or and cities, so they don't time. And so it's the foremost priority, foremost responsibility of is that of school teachers, that of schools. It is their responsibility, first responsibility, to focus on the quality of education delivered to the kids, so that the school system, private school system, does not collapse in the near future. So if the current scenario that continues, then definitely there is a very high risk of private school system getting collapsed. So as soon as the parents find an alternative solution, they will no longer would like to go to private schools, because there are so many other things which are already built up in the parents' mind. Maybe it is a issue of very high fee, or hike in the fee, okay, every year. And even parents complain of the school system getting commercialized, so they have made education merely a business. So that kind of mindset, that kind of approach, the schools need to set out, because ultimately education is education. Teacher student relationship is the most biased relationship, and if we commercialize it, if we make it a business, then definitely uh, the things will deteriorate, and it will be dangerous for both the parents, students, as well as for the schools. So that's an important aspect. And another thing, to summarize, that online classes by schools need to be in smaller groups, so that uh, teachers can increase interaction with the students. Okay, because more the students, more the time will be required to interact with each and every student, and so smaller groups will make the teaching learning process more effective. The teacher will have more time to interact and engage with every student. The teacher will ensure that each and every student is understanding. The teacher will understand, he will ensure that every teacher is getting connected properly with the class, he is comprehending, and he is connected, everything is fine. And so although one-to-one personalized learning, online learning is the best way to deliver best, because one-to-one personalized learning ensures that the teacher teaches at the child's learning requirements, his learning pace. And so that's but because of lack of teachers, small groups can be made, so that everyone understand it, and every child is getting benefited by online classes. So another aspect I just told you earlier, teacher training also needs to be improved by schools. Now let's so that was briefly I have covered some of the important aspects of teaching, although it's a vast area and requires lots of discussion. And but because of time limitation, I try to make it brief, and I'm sure it will help the teachers. It will help the freshers who want to make their career in teaching, and it also help the teachers who have come from offline to online teaching, and it also help others also. And indirectly it will also help the students. Okay, if the teachers improve, definitely it will benefit the students, and student will get quality education from our teachers. So um, we'll also cover many other important aspects in the education system, and in the next coming topics we'll cover some important topics, separate lectures on, just like next will be improvements needed by schools to enhance quality of education. So that will be our next lecture. Then after that, the next lecture will be origin of coaching industry in India. So why coaching industry arose in India, and how it is, why and how it is so successful. And in the next lecture, we'll study failure of government schools and rise of private schools in India. And in the last lecture, we'll cover failure of private schools to meet educational needs of students, parents, and requirements of job industry. So that's they are the very important aspects that needs to be lots of deliberation on that, and in the coming lectures we will cover that. So I hope it will benefit the teachers, it will help the teachers and student a lot. Thanks, have a nice day.